Now, a member of the BBC team who produced a documentary which aired last week on Daniel Kinahan has been warned of threats to his life. The journalist was informed by the PSNI about an unspecified threat from unnamed criminal elements in relation to the programme which was broadcast last Monday. The subject of that documentary, Daniel Kinahan, is the head of a criminal organisation found by the Special Criminal Court here to be responsible for drug trafficking and gangland murders. Well, on the line now is Seamus Dooley, Irish Secretary of the National Union of Journalists. Seamus, what is your own reaction to these threats to the journalist involved here?
Well, these are outrageous threats. I can't prove where they come from, but they are designed to stop journalists asking difficult questions. Actually, they will have the opposite effect, of course. Money laundering is not a victimless crime. So this is not just about an attack on journalism, it is an attack on society. The Panorama question raised fundamental questions, and they have implications for media organisations, for advertising, for sponsors, for broadcasting rights, and of course for journalism.
OK, we'll talk a bit more about that in a moment, but I understand that you have been in contact with the person who was threatened, who was involved in this documentary on links between the sport of boxing and Daniel Kinahan. How is he?
Well, I'm in touch with him, and he and his family are safe and sound and well. He is extremely grateful for the many messages of solidarity and support. He's someone I have known for many years, and someone who, like the rest of the Panorama team, are committed to public service broadcasting. And, you know, they have produced some stellar journalism. I think it's also worth noting that in the aftermath of the Regency Hotel killing 5 years ago, an Irish independent journalist was the victim of a serious threat. So this is not a new problem for journalists covering this story.
The documentary here, it investigated the role played by Daniel Kinahan in the sport of boxing. And we know that some of the boxers who are advised by Daniel Kinahan make a lot of money from fights which are broadcast on pay-per-view television. Given the threat to the life of the journalist here, and given the many murders which are associated with the Kinahan criminal gang, is there an onus on broadcasters who show these fights to respond now?
Absolutely. I think there was an onus before the threats, but the onus is reinforced now. The programme asked the question, why isn't the world of boxing taking this problem seriously? And the reality is that turning a blind eye is not a sustainable ethical position. Fine words and tea and sympathy will not be enough. There is an impetus and for broadcasting organisations to get together and to say we will not be associated with direct or indirect links to criminality. And if that means not broadcasting elite fights, so be it. Same applies to to advertisers and to sponsorships. There is an irony here. Amateur sports, amateur boxing has been a pathway out of drugs for many young people. Elite sports at this level is being used, it appears, to launder money which has been generated through criminality and through the misery caused by drugs. And, if there has to be some morality in relation to broadcasting, and it cannot just be about profits, and if there is a united stance by the broadcasting organisations on this, rather than turning a blind eye, I think that will yield results.
This is a big money game, though. Do you really expect those big broadcasters who show those fights to walk away?
I do, absolutely. I don't. There are some things which are more valuable than money, and I think that there is a real credibility problem for media organisations if they simply ignore evidence, and there does have to be evidence of links to criminality. And the first step must now be, I think, not just an examination of conscience, but an examination of all of the facts. And if there is proven links to criminality, then they cannot just pretend it's not happening.
OK, Seamus Dooley, Irish Secretary of the National Union of Journalists, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.